This is Brave Business Conversation with Cynthia Wihardja, and we have in the studio Lewis Britton from Adler Fairways Insurance. Welcome, Lewis.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's so interesting, this topic, because lots of people invest a lot of money in insurance and they don't get their claims. So you're the expert today.
Yeah. Pleased to be here.
Yeah. So tell us about your experience. I mean, how did you get into insurance? How did you get into this industry? It's fascinating.
It's a funny one. I wouldn't say, I had aspirations to become an insurance broker growing up, but I left school when I was 18, so I left sixth form back in 2010, and I decided that higher education university wasn't for me. My father worked for a large pensions insurance business, so I asked him to hand my CV in. The old saying is about who you know, not what you know. So I started off as a pensions administrator. I was there for 3 years and loved it. And then I had an opportunity to work for a large broker in the southwest, where I started my broking career. But I did start in pensions for the broker, and I was successful in fact being fast-tracked on what's called an accelerated development program. This gave me the skill set and experience to take on a role in sales, especially in health insurance. And since then I've worked for a couple of brokers, and today I'm at Adler Fairways, where I'm really pleased to be.
Yeah, I mean, it must be quite a purposeful thing, helping people to protect themselves.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a real passion of mine. I like helping people, so that's why I do what I do, and I love client satisfaction. I'm
just going to do a quick intro because I met Lewis through my financial advisor. And Andrew, and I was looking for health insurance. I know in this country you have the NHS and everything, but I wanted something private. And then Lewis called, and then it was just like a breath of fresh air. You were so helpful, you were so personable, and actually this is the first time we've met in person, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's a pleasure to meet you. But
yeah. And I've been insured for almost like 6 months or 8 months, or I can't even remember. But it's been so supportive, because for me, I'm not a detail-oriented person. I just like, okay, it's done, But all the details, to be honest, it gets a bit scary and intimidating sometimes, all these policies that come up. But you just like keep it simple and stupid for me, which is really, really good. And there was, of course, a big brand insurance that I was looking at, and then there was like a brand I didn't know, and you gave me the pros and cons that helped me make the right decision, because otherwise I would have been swayed to just do the big and expensive brand because that's the brand I know. And then we went with a new brand, and I'm very, very happy with it. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's how it should be with an insurance broker, to make it as easy as possible and easy for you to understand and know your product. So it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So what else does? Tell me more about your company. What clients do you typically serve?
So client-wise, we serve. We specialise in sort of the large corporate SME and also individuals as well. So when I say SME in terms of health insurance, what I specialise in, I would class SME from any sort of employer or business that has 5 to 250 employees. The large corporate would be above that. But we specialise in all those sectors.
Okay, everything like health, mainly health, or key person insurance, for instance, maybe?
Not at all. We also deal with the commercial insurance side of things.
Okay.
So ranging from fleet insurance, cyber insurance, and public liability insurance as well.
Has anything changed because of Brexit? A lot of things.
I don't believe so massively yet, but I still think
coming.
It's coming, yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk more about how to get the most that you deserve from your claims after this. But let's use this time with Lewis to make sure that we do the right process to ensure ourselves a smooth claims experience. We'll be back with Brave Business Conversation after this.
Made locally in Bath. This is Radio Bath.
And we're still with Lewis, Fairways Insurance Brokers, and we're still talking about claims. Common mistakes. Lewis, what do people do that makes their lives a bit more difficult?
Yeah, unfortunately, mistakes are made, and the most common ones I see. I think this is probably the most important thing for me is to understand your product, to understand the policy you're taking out. So, for example, it may be that you didn't understand that covered on the policy, and it comes to claim someone has a serious mental health issue, it's not covered on a private medical insurance. It is imperative to if you have a broker to understand and ask the right questions and understand what exactly it is. Another great example that I see, and I've experienced on a couple of occasions, is where members, policyholders fail to pre-authorise treatment. Really important you speak to the insurer before you go ahead with any private treatment, just to give you that peace of mind that it's covered in full. And there's no perhaps for example, a consultant wasn't covered in full by that insurer, but if you go and there's a shortfall that you could be lumbered with a large bill.
Yeah, I think it's one of these things. Be ready to ask the silly questions.
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as a silly question. If you're going to invest X amount of money every year, you have the right to just say, is this covered? Is that covered? Like, is COVID these days or still not, right?
Not really. I mean, I know one of the insurers actually covers support for long COVID, but in terms of COVID treatment, not really covered on private medical insurance.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially if someone's bought the insurance for you, right?
Yes,
let's say you're a
absolutely.
young person like that. As you're taking it over, ask those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I'd stress, if you're looking to potentially use a broker in the future, that's what they're paid to do. They're paid to help you with these things. They're not just there to sell the product. They're there to support you ongoingly if you've got any of these questions. And like you correctly said, there isn't a silly question.
Yeah, because you're the one being by it at the end. What about the other thing about ensuring that you get, what is it, a pre-authorization before you go for that treatment? What does that mean in human speak?
So with any private medical insurance policy, you do need a GP referral before you have any treatment. So it might be that you're not aware of that. So speak to the insurer first. They will guide you through the steps of what you need to do. Or even speak to your broker, and they'll do the legwork and speak to the insurer and inform you what you need to do.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I run a business show. I look at it from a business point of view. And insurance is a business, right?
Absolutely.
They want to make sure they protect their bottom line as well. Now, we only pay very little, if you think about it, for the amount of coverage that we will get. But so they factor risk, So of course they're going to be very, very meticulous when they look at claims.
Yes.
And if you didn't do one thing right, that's the way they're going to save on the claims money.
Yeah, I mean they've got their procedures in place, and you have to follow them. But just speak to them, speak to your broker, and just to give that peace of mind that it's going to be, your treatment's going to be covered in full.
Exactly. Well, when we come back, I'd like to talk to you about insurance in general. Like what types of insurance do normal people need? Because a lot of my head is just life, health, right? But maybe some other ideas that you can think of based on your experience. We'll talk after this. Welcome back to Brave Business Conversation. I'm still in the studio with Britton from Adler Fairways Insurance Brokers. We were talking about a typical individual, a typical corporation. What kind of insurance do we need?
That's a great question, Cynthia. In terms of personal insurance, typically, first thing that comes to my head would be your home insurance, first and foremost. It might be holiday home insurance, and then you've got car insurance, and also, now that the travel restrictions are opening again, travel insurance is really important.
Is holiday holiday home insurance is typically for damages, fire, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, that's true. The first thing that comes out of my head is health. I guess, it's funny, but I do have property. So, yes, home insurance is definitely important because I don't want to pay for it if something happens.
Definitely.
Yeah. How about education insurance? Do people do that here? To put aside some money for your kids?
I'll be honest, I haven't come across that one before, if I'm honest. Education. There
were some schemes where you put a bit of money in, and then if for any reason you cannot pay for your children's education, that comes out of it.
I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, I know. Your age, you should. Yeah. It's like a little mini trust, I guess. I'm not sure. Yeah. And what about as a company?
Company, another good question. So first and foremost, health insurance is good for business. Attracting and retaining staff. The people look at benefits and as on top of salaries these days. So health insurance is great.
On top of the NHS, even, yeah.
Yeah, and given the waiting times at the moment in the NHS, private health insurance is really important. Protection. So, for example, death and service cover. So, if an employee passes away during employment, not physically when they're at work, but whilst they're employed by the business, have they got protection in place to protect their dependents? What's going to pay the mortgage if something happens to them? So that's another key one that employees look at as part of benefits package on top of the salary that they receive. Key man insurance is a good one because, when you've got, certain managing director, what would happen if something happened to him? The business would need to find somebody else to step in and do the job, just come in and have a smooth transition if something was to happen to the managing director.
And is that just paid up as a lump sum to assume that a certain amount of money will cover that damage or to cover that inconvenience?
I believe it is paid as a lump sum.
Okay, yeah. It's interesting. Not a lot of people think about that,
No.
actually, because they think they're just going to live forever, especially business owners, right? Is a key person insurance. Typically, the managing director is the business owner. They say, oh, no, I've got my life insurance or I've got my health insurance. Why do I need a key man or key woman insurance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's very important. People don't think about these things. But that is a real big one for businesses. And then if you've got vehicles in a business, fleet insurance, that's really important. You've got to have the vans covered, the cars that people are travelling in. Public liability is another good one. That's really important that all businesses need. And then more commonly in recent times, cyber insurance, because businesses are, they do face, some businesses have unfortunately had cyber attacks.
And indemnity insurance, especially if you're delivering service or promising a certain quality or
Yes.
something like that, right?
That's
Professional indemnity.
Another great one there, yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that people, especially during the last couple of years where we've had all this pandemic stuff, do you think people are more aware of insurance?
I think so. I think especially, first thing people will think of with a pandemic like coronavirus is health insurance. I think that people, I've seen personally a lot of new people come into the market or businesses that haven't had private health insurance before and taken it out because it's such a quality product, especially in, when the waiting times are longer than usual.
Yeah, yeah. And is it, be a silly question here. When I think of, just buy insurance, okay, fine. So I go to a website and I go to whatever company I kind of know, or maybe to a compared website, and I'll just click and buy online. Why do I need an insurance broker?
Great question. So
I love putting my guests on the spot, by the way. If you would like to be as a guest on this show, just get ready for that.
So if you go to a broker reviews the market for you. So they don't just give you one option. They'll review the market for you by several insurers. Now, you're not going to necessarily get the best price direct. The reason being is that an insurance broker can use feedback from the market to challenge insurers on their price, especially at renewal stage. It's annoying,
isn't it? The new customers get better prices than the old customers.
Yeah, and that's our job as a broker to get the price down as much as we possibly can for you and make it affordable. And that's, it's very unlikely if you're going direct to an insurer that you'll be getting the best price.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I want to get back to the conversation about claims.
Yes.
Right? And after this, I'd like to get some of your top tips on how to make sure we have a smooth claim experience. Okay, we'll be back with Lewis Britton after this.
Made locally in Bath. This is Radio Bath.
Before we proceed to our next segment, Lewis has requested a song. It's Beautiful Day by U2. Who do you want to shout out to, and what does this song remind you of?
Well, first of all, Cynthia is a positive vibe. That's why it always makes me smile. But the reason it mainly makes me smile is a dedication to my father, because when I was young and a child, any football fans out there will remember the Premiership on ITV. And I just remember begging my dad, when I was like 10 years old, to stay up until 9:30 to watch it every Saturday night. And he always gave in because it was a bit past my bedtime, and I'd almost fall asleep, but I'd always manage to stay up and watch it, and it just brings back great memories of my childhood.
All right, let's enjoy the beautiful day. Memories of staying up late at night. That was a beautiful day. Memories of staying up late at night to watch football.
Great times.
Did you watch football, the finals and everything?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh.
Still not over Sunday night. It was a bit of a kick in the teeth.
England played well, I have to say, and they did very well. It's just that, you can't criticize them. It's somebody just played better. That's it. But to reach a draw all the way till penalty kicks and everything, and when you have a penalty kick, it's a gamble, isn't it?
It's the worst way to lose a final, and feel for the chaps that stepped up and unfortunately missed, because it takes a lot of bottle and courage to step up in front of such a big crowd in the world watching. It's really feel for them, and we, like you said, we played well. Really proud of their efforts, but
Yeah.
it was disappointing to lose.
It was, but oh my gosh, to have come that far, that's amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Back to claims. So, final tips, Lewis. If we want to get our claims, what should we do? What should we pay attention to?
I'm just gonna go back to pick out a couple of points I made earlier. I think it's really important to use your broker. They've got vast experience in dealing with with clients and insurers. Take advantage of that and just speak to your broker. That's what they're paid to do. Take advice from them as well as speaking to the insurer. You've got two avenues then, and good brokers will do the legwork for you as well and speak to the insurers on your behalf.
Yeah. If you've got a great broker that's really, they're supposed to help you along with all these nitty gritty details. And if you don't know what to do, don't be afraid to just ask those questions.
Absolutely. Please do. Just reach out. And like I said, they're not just paid to sell the policy. They're there to offer you the ongoing support as well. And if I can sort of touch on anything else again, would be, just make sure you pre-authorize. I can only stress that. And especially when someone takes a policy out, I always stress, make sure you're pre-authorised. Don't just go and have the treatment.
Yeah.
Make sure you either speak to the broker or the insurer, because you just don't want to be lumbered with a big bill in case a certain consultant wasn't recognised by the insurer, or there was a shortfall because they'd only pay up to a certain amount. Just take advantage and speak to your insurer and speak to the broker to gain some tips on how to proceed or how to do how to deal with a claim before actually going to have the treatment.
Probably, if I can add a tip or two as a user point of view, speak to your broker before trouble. Because after the fact, many times you can't do anything about it. It's all submitted and everything. Just try to get consultation before you're thinking about claims and before this. And if there's any words in that big, heavy document that you don't understand, just ask. It's not stupid. It's just because you're not from the industry. And sometimes some legal documentation, they make it so difficult with all these fancy words. Just it's almost like to confuse people a little bit. So that's what the brokers are there for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Ask brokers before friends.
Good point.
Unless your friend is a broker.
Yeah.
Lewis, it's been a pleasure. How do we get in touch with you if we want to talk to you? Do you offer like a free consultation, or what do you do? How do we?
Always happy to speak to people. So all I can suggest mainly is to go to our website, which is Adler Fairways. And my details are on the website. Please reach out, and even if you need any other assistance, whether that's personal insurance or whether it's commercial insurance for your business, reach out to us. We'd be really pleased to help, and I certainly would be keen to help anybody that needs my assistance.
Absolutely. He's really, really helpful. So he really means what he says. Thank you so much for being.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, all the best in your business.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this.